Understanding psychosis. What are we talking about here? Psychosis. That's a heavy word, isn't it? So what does it actually mean? It means your brain isn't processing reality, not like it should. You start to lose your grip, losing touch with what's real. This is serious business, folks. You might start seeing things or hearing voices, things that nobody else sees or hears. These are called hallucinations. Imagine hearing someone call your name, but you're all alone. That's your mind playing tricks. It's a common sign of psychosis. Then there are delusions. What in the world are delusions? These are strong, fixed beliefs. Beliefs that simply aren't true, but you believe them with all your heart. No amount of proof changes your mind. You might think someone is plotting against you, even when there's no evidence at all. Psychosis can turn your life upside down. It makes everyday things incredibly hard. Going to school or work feels impossible. Your relationships start to suffer. You might feel isolated, scared, and confused. This isn't something you can just ignore. It's a sign you need help, and you need it now. All right, let's talk about marijuana. Some people call it weed or pot. It comes from a plant. The main chemical that affects your mind? It's called THC. That's short for tetrahydrocannabinol. The more THC, the stronger the effect. Some weed today is very, very strong. So, how does THC mess with your brain? Your brain has its own system. It's called the endocannabinoid system. THC hijacks this system. It changes how brain cells talk to each other. This can affect your mood, it can affect your memory, and it can affect how you see the world. When you use marijuana, what happens? Short term, you might feel relaxed, or you might feel anxious and paranoid. Your senses can get distorted. Colors might seem brighter. Sounds might seem louder. Your reaction time slows down, and you might have trouble remembering things. Now think about long-term use, especially if you start young, when your brain is still developing. We're talking about teenagers here. Consistent marijuana use can change brain structure. It can affect learning and memory. It can impact your motivation. This isn't a game, people. It has consequences. So here's the big question. Can smoking weed lead to psychosis? This is a hot topic, a big debate, but we need to look at the facts. Many studies show a connection, a link between heavy marijuana use and psychosis. This isn't just scare tactics. It's what the research is telling us. Some studies show that people who use marijuana heavily, especially high THC marijuana, they have a higher risk of developing psychosis. We're talking 2 to 4 times higher. If you start using young in your teens, the risk goes up even more. Your brain is vulnerable then. These are serious numbers we can't ignore. Now, not everyone who smokes weed will get psychosis. That's an important point. But for some people, it acts like a trigger, especially if you have a vulnerability. Maybe psychosis runs in your family, a genetic predisposition we call it. Or maybe you've had mental health issues before. Marijuana can be the thing that pushes you over the edge. Think about it like this. Imagine someone who is already at risk. They start using strong weed every day. Suddenly they start hearing voices. They become paranoid, suspicious of everyone. They're showing signs of psychosis. Did the weed cause it? For that person, it likely played a big role. Section 4. The other side of the coin. Is it all weed's fault? Now, let's be fair. Is this whole thing black and white? Does weed automatically cause psychosis in everyone? No, it's not that simple. Life is rarely that simple. Some argue it's correlation, not causation. What does that mean? It means 2 things happen together, but one doesn't necessarily cause the other. Maybe people who are already developing psychosis. Maybe they start using marijuana. They use it to cope with early symptoms. Symptoms like anxiety or feeling strange. This is called the self-medication idea. They're trying to feel better, but the weed might actually make things worse. The vast majority of people who use marijuana, they do not develop psychosis. We have to acknowledge that fact. So what else is going on? There are other risk factors involved. Your family history of mental illness matters. Your own mental health history matters. High levels of stress can play a part. Using other drugs can also increase risk. So it's a complex picture. It's not just about weed. It's about you, your biology, your environment, and how all these things interact. Saying weed causes psychosis is too simple. But saying weed has no link to psychosis, well, that's just not true either. Section 5. Getting real: what we know, what we don't, and what you need to do. Let's pull this all together. Marijuana and psychosis, it's complicated. But there's a link, especially with high-potency stuff. And for young people. Their brains are still developing. The risk is higher for some. Family history of psychosis? like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder? Be extra careful. Mental health struggles? You're playing with fire. Marijuana could be a dangerous gamble. Understand these risks. Make informed choices based on facts, not on what your buddies say or the internet. Get real information from trusted sources. Understand what you're putting into your body and how it affects your mind. We need more research. Scientists are working on it. But here's what you need to do. Worried about marijuana use? Talk to a doctor or a mental health professional. Get help. Get real. Take control of your health. Subscribe and don't forget to take care of yourselves. Goodbye.